What's happening, YouTube? My name is Mike. This channel right here is Health and Wealth. I don't know why I'm talking low. I got the whole place to myself. Just had a shower. It is Saturday, July 26th, and I'm making a video on HOIE today. HOOY is the ETF symbol over at YieldMax. I'm pretty happy with my purchase so far. I only bought 16 shares. That's what the budget allotted for. And I just got my distribution from it, and it was a really good one. And so I want to talk about HOOI a little bit. I want to talk about how it makes money for us. I want to talk about how it could win, how it can lose, and we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive under the hood of HOOI in this video. So if you are thinking about opening a position at HOOI, this may help you make that decision or not make that decision, but that decision is not up to me. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy on YouTube talking about the positions that I have and going through the thoughts that I go through to purchase these types of things. So if you enjoy that type of content, I hope you hit the like, the subscribe, and again, my name is Mike, and I hope to provide you some value and entertainment in your life. All right, so first things first here, we have YieldMax's website. This is YieldMaxETF.com. I've scrolled down a bunch. You can see I'm about halfway. Well, you can't see. I'm halfway down the page. And we're going to get to kind of their fund information section here. There's a few things that are important. So this came out May 7th. So it's only been around for a couple of months so far, up to 3 months shortly here. Gross expense ratio 0.99%. This means that's what they charge us to run this fund, and that's annually. All right. So um, you would think if you look elsewhere on funds that aren't as actively ran, it's a little bit of a smaller fee than this. So this is a higher fee than those funds that are not actively run. So we're paying a little bit more for it to be actively run. Okay, I'm going to give you two examples of active funds coming up here. Okay, so net assets under the fund right now are $228 million. The NAV $67.62. That's just the price of the share at this time. Shares outstanding is an important number, 3,375,000. When you take a look at the synthetic income, which I'm going to show you, you can divide that by the amount of shares, and that would be the potential income of the distribution. Of course, they have their weeklies, wins, and losses in there too. They have expenses that they got to pay for on top of that. But that's just kind of like a cool number to look at. So we'll take a look at that together today too. It does have a premium discount percentage here of 0.38%. And then there's the closing price, 67.36 right there. So I like to look at the shares outstanding and the net assets here. AUM is a term that's thrown out there. Assets under management. That's how much money they have to play with to make us money with their weekly and their, um, you know, almost monthly, sometimes bi-monthly, or yeah, bi-monthly options called synthetic. So here's a list of some of their transactions that they have out there right now. For me, I'm not a big fan of this section because it doesn't tell the whole story. I'd like to go to download all holdings. And before we go look at those holdings, I'm going to take a look at the share price of HOOI, $67.36. If you don't know, it trades on Robinhood, right? So it doesn't own any shares of Robinhood. It trades options on Robinhood. Robinhood right here today at $104.85. So that's pretty cool. Let's go take a look at the two spreadsheets I have. I've downloaded both of these from YieldMax's website. One was early yesterday. I downloaded this one, and then the one is from this morning. So this is or early yesterday. Now I didn't look at it for the whole week before, so I'm guessing they had closed some options by the time I got to it early Friday. But you can see here weekly income is 215,800 on this Friday's spreadsheet. Now I'm gathering they probably already closed a whole bunch earlier in the week. They usually do it on Thursdays or Fridays, so I caught it on Friday. They did do a credit call spread. They're doing credit call spreads here with the HOOI fund, and so that was 39,000 that they paid out to do the credit call spread. So total income for what I caught was $176,000. Not very much, but we'll take a look at this week's coming up here, and we'll kind of we'll see what they're doing now. They also opened some longer ones here. This is probably what happened. They probably opened these ones on Thursday, and that's what we didn't catch, right? So $1,645,500. They have a credit call spread of $552,000. So total long weekly. I called it a long weekly. I just made that term up. I needed to decipher before the or from the this is this week, and then these are going to be next week. That's all I was doing with that term. But $1,093,500. So that's pretty cool. And that's going to be closing out next week on August 25th. They have four of those options out there, five of those options out there: 109, 110, 111, 114, 115. I love a good spread of that, all varying in different shares or call options sitting there, and all varying in price that they got for that as well. And all varying in market value. The stuff in the orange, I know I took some feedback from you guys. You mentioned that some of the coloring was hard to read. I hope this orange is a little easier, but let me know if it's not. I'll change it from the next one. But what do we have here? These are your credit call spreads. So they paid this money out, right? That's what I'm highlighting right there. I know it's a little small, but that's what this is right here. That's your credit call spread right there, right? So there's a 1.645 in, and there's a 552,000 out. So a total of 1,093,000. Now we also have our synthetic, which is absolutely crushing the world in a good way. This is very, very exciting for me because I'm a shareholder of HOIE, not a massive shareholder, but I'll show you my position in a second here. But $34,626,000 in synthetic option. This is really cool. Remember before I talked about knowing how many shares it had, right? So you can take that 34 million, you can divide it by the 3.375. Comes up to roughly like almost like $10 in income for us on that distribution announcement. Now, will it get to $10? I doubt it because they have lots of fees. They probably have to close some options, which is going to cost money in there. So $10 is probably unreasonable to think about, but it is a fun dream to think about while we're here, right? All right, so that's yesterday's. Let's get to today's news here. Today's news is even more exciting. Let's go click here. I trimmed it up a little bit, made it look a little nicer for you. When you open it, it's just a white sheet, so you kind of have to decipher the code a little bit, but it's really not too hard. I'll zoom in just a touch there for you. Top one's your synthetic option. Same with the very bottom one here. The gray stuff is United States Treasury, where they hold money. Basically, they have money in there long term to gain interest, but also it kind of tells the banks that, hey, we've got this money. If anything happens, we are here to pay our bills, right? So that's their uh, kind of a defense measure. The lighter green in the middle here is going to be your or oh my goodness, your weekly calls. And remember, before I had talked about how there was on the last one we had those long weeklies. That's probably these ones right here, plus a couple more. And then down below is your credit call spreads, right? It's where they have to pay money to open those. So synthetic did change in value here. So they've changed some things. It's $40 million, 896,000 now. Holy smokes, that's incredible. Again, divide that by the 3.6 million shares outstanding, and that's a really, really exciting number for us. Now, it is a red minus sign here. The weeklies comes up as minus, but that's actually plus money for us, right? $5,286,400 in weekly income that they generated in something called a premium. Now, that's not locked in, right? So let's go to the end of next week, Thursday or Friday. If the share of Robinhood is over top of their strike prices of 109 all the way up to 115, then they would have to pay money out. If it's underneath the 109, then that's good news. They would have to close the option still, which does cost money, but we're talking about pennies on the dollar at that point. So we're hoping for next week Robinhood itself to stay under $109 for that week. Down below, yeah, there's your credit call spread. So ignore the red and the minus sign. That's just how it comes up. That's your plus money. The 1.4 mil is your minus money. Oh, hello. You're not seeing it. There we go. So we got a total of $3,847,570 in weekly income for this upcoming week, which is really exciting. Plus the 40 million in synthetic option, which is closing a couple of weeks into August here. Should be a very, very good payment coming up. That's what I'm expecting, anyways. And when I say coming up, that's like 3.5 weeks from now. But for me, that's what one of the reasons I got into HOIE was because I saw the potential income there. So next thing I'm going to show you is this screen here. We took a look at HOIE's share price. We took a look at Robinhood's share price. Let's go take a look at my little Excel file. Now, this file on HOIE is very plain Jane because I haven't had a lot of action. I've only got one distribution so far from it. So I've had it for 1 month. I have 16 shares. My total cost into HOIE is $1,093. My average cost is 69.02, and its current price is 67.36. So it just went down over the last couple of, or like a couple of days ago, and then went back up on Friday a little bit. But I mean, the X distribution date. Let's just go take a look at it here. The X distribution date was on Thursday. That's this right here. Um, and oh, hold on one second. Oh wow, it didn't dip as much. Look at that. So Wednesday had a rough day, and then Thursday had a rough day, and those 2 days went down $8, right? And since then, though, it started to migrate its way back up to where I want it to be, which is over that $69 region, because that's what I've bought these shares at. I am a little nervous about that share price, to be honest with you. Can Robinhood keep it up? I don't know. I don't know if it can. And that current volatility could dramatically decrease over the next, 12 months. But let's talk about right now. So I have received my $94. This is after tax, $94 in distribution. I really love that. So if I take the 94, and this is again after tax, and I divide it by $1,093, that comes up with an 8% return on my money so far in just 1 month. So I got to be happy with that. Now I know the share price is down $2, right? So that would maybe bring it that percentage down a little bit, but I haven't sold those shares of HOIE. I don't plan on selling those shares of HOIE. I want to see how long it's going to take me to get to 100% return of my money, right? That's the goal. That's what I want to see. And now I'm taking this $94. I'm either going to put it on Misty or Alti. I am leaning towards Alti, which is a kind of a change of plan, but I don't know if Misty pays $1.25 as an example. Um, this would buy me 4 shares of Misty. If I put it into Alti, that would buy me 15 shares, which is averaging, let's call it 9 cents. And so a buck 25 times 4, you're looking at $5. If you're looking at 9 cents times 15, you're looking at $5.90. So I'm kind of leaning towards Alti on this one. We'll find out on Monday what I do. HOIE's total distribution so far is $16.69. That's in 3 months, people. That's incredible. Its average distribution is $5.56. You can see I am labeling them out there as well. And then I want to show you my passive account. Best month I had in the last couple here, but my second best month of all time. I don't know if you can read that or not, but Nvidia paid me $0 in distribution. I think it did pay 1 cent per share, and I had 16 shares at the time when that happened, so I don't think this thing shows us cents. This is passive, by the way. I have a link for it down below if you want to get a dividend tracker tool. The elite version's $99. They have a non-elite version for less. I get paid $20 if you sign up for it. Misty paid me $626 this month. PLTE.to, a Canadian version of PLTY, paid me $15. HHIS paid me $26. There's an increase from last month. Misty.to, which I've since got rid of, paid me $2. Nvidia paid me 417. All of that money went straight over to Misty. HOIE paid me 128. And remember, these numbers are Canadian. I showed you 94 after tax is what I actually got. Alti paid me $24 this month, and Coney paid me $2.99. So I'm really happy with all of those. I'm hoping for Misty to pay me more, and for HOIE just to be consistent over the next 12 months. If that is consistent over the next 12 months, then I will have made all of my money that I originally put into it back, and that is a very exciting thing for me. I love return, and I'm excited. Now, I'm not necessarily dripping it, but I am using every single penny of that HOIE distribution to invest in other funds. It's either going to be Misty or Alti, thus compounding, right? And compound is the eighth wonder of the financial world. I can't wait to continue to compound this money up and up and up until that I can realistically retire in the future. If you resonate with this content, if you enjoyed this content, I hope you hit the like, the subscribe. My name is Mike. Have a great day. This is Health and Wealth.